My name's Shayna Davidson. I wrote and directed Boss Babe.
My name is Larry, but what's it called?
Dream.
Yeah, I was in 2 in the morning.
I'm William Garcia. I produced and directed In the Mind of Kevin Lewis.
I'm Ocoza, and I wrote and directed 2 in the morning.
Dana Chisholm, and I produced 2 in the morning with fellow.
It's Mike down there. Just tell I'm going to use my stage voice. Just tell us maybe what was the process to get you writing and what gave you the idea. I don't think what was your inspiration question, but I guess that's what it is. What was the inspiration, the idea, what made you think of it?
Making a lot of mistakes in my own life and relationships provided me way too much inspiration.
I was in New Orleans actually shooting some footage for a different project, and I knew I was going down there, and I hadn't been in touch with Kevin in about 10 years or more. He actually was my son's teacher. My son's a musician, and I knew he was at Preservation Hall. I reached out to him, and he was great. It took a while to get back to me. He was a musician, but he got back and said, "Come on by," and he gave me his time, and we did the interview at Preservation Hall, and felt really lucky that I was down there and that all worked out.
Very fun. Just let your experience on 2 in the morning.
It was pretty fun.
And it's a pretty fun. It's all right. It's okay. You're doing great.
For Boss Babe, I really just wanted to make something funny and lighthearted and not super serious. Especially, we have such an amazing community of filmmakers in Albuquerque, and there was just kind of an opening. It took from start to finish probably a month of thinking, writing, pre-production, production, and then we edited it in 2 days. And we just really wanted to show off and have some fun.
Yeah, that's great. I know your lead, Amy, is just, she seems like such a pleasure to work with and so easy to work with and so professional. And I just love her. I think I created an award for her this year because she deserves it. You're like in everything. You're in everything. I said, hey, I know her. She is fantastic. Great job. So does anybody want to talk about maybe challenges that they had on set?
So we plan to shoot Boss Babe on the Saturday of Easter weekend, so April 20th on 4/20 last year in 2025. And we really out of the blue had a major blizzard come in that Saturday, the exact day we were going to shoot, and I had never seen it snow like this before, and so much obviously is outside. We shot what we could, but then the snow just kept coming, and I was so worried that everyone was just going to be like, this isn't really worth it, we're going to go home. But, I mean, everyone did such a fantastic job. The whole crew, they were such troopers with us. Amy was amazing. She was running outside in the cold. And, like, I don't think you can really tell that it snowed, actually. I hope not, at least.
You can skip it. My main challenge was being all alone, which I actually teach film and video in New Jersey at Rutgers University. And it's the #1 lesson I tell all my students: never do it alone. Always grab 1 or 2 people. But I was down there collecting footage for this other project, The Undrowned, and I knew that was okay. The sound wasn't a big issue and those things. So all of a sudden, I found myself alone, and you know, it was a major challenge. And I like working with other people, so it worked out fine. I mean, more or less. But it was not ideal, and the opportunity came, and I had a choice of doing it that way or not doing it at all. So I was glad I got it done.
Our production actually went really well. We had 2 great producers putting it all together. Yeah, and I know. Well, you won't hate me anymore because our post-production took a long time. So when I hear that you had something done in 30 days, I hate you back.
You're not like that. The producer want to say anything?
I pretty much agree with him. I had another producer that like got everything set up, and then I came in and helped out, and it was decently smooth. I mean, I would say anything just would have been time.
Yeah.
Was glad. So keep the mic down there. Let me, I'm trying to open the floor up. Let me just open the floor now for questions. I know there has to be some. We're in a room full of filmmakers and creatives. There has to be questions. So please ask away. You cannot borrow with your money. I'm not going to start there. Okay. Speak up. Anyone? Yes.
I'm sorry, I forget your name.
Bill.
Bill, okay. I saw in your credits that Sub Pop was somehow involved. Could you explain their involvement in this?
Yeah, well, they're the record label who put out the brass band album. And they're also involved with, forgetting his name, the man who owns and runs Preservation Hall. So the first thing I did was asked if we could use the music. And Kevin was like, no problem, 100%. And I knew what that meant. And eventually they kind of agreed. And then they started bringing in lawyers. And I said, well, I'm not even going to get into that. We'll deal with that when we get to it. But that's why they got a credit, because it's their album, and they kind of gave me permission a little bit. It's a phenomenal brass band album too. It's just amazing. So and that was, I felt very lucky and privileged that they let me use some of that music.
Very nice. Yeah, Shayna is the guy that was crawling in the but is he here? He is actually in the stand-up. What was that like?
What was that word?
What was it like?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Was it we just kind of popped up out of nowhere. I know what you doing that. Explain to us, Shayna, what his purpose of being there was.
Well, I mean, in writing, we just wanted her experience to get increasingly more chaotic and bizarre. And I told Kay, my husband and producer, I need someone really, really tall. And Stefan is the first person, he's the only person who could have done it.
So, Stefan, your first act, wasn't your first acting credit?
One of them.
One of them, so you're like just the screamer? Is that how is that how you describe you?
Crawling man.
I think I have my ability extends.
Absolutely. Stefan is very talented.
You're talented.
Good act.
Wonderful. Any other questions?
So I'm nowhere involved in the film industry or anything, but I'm really curious how it goes from your vision to those of you who wrote or imagined how this end product with collaboration, how did that change throughout the process? Like, does it look in your head the same way at the end? Or in what ways does it change yours sort of hopefully better?
I mean, it's better than I could have imagined because it's real and it reflects all the hard work that people put in. And when it's in your imagination, it's kind of this perfect, pristine dream, but that's not as exciting as the real thing.
I'll just say from a nonfiction point of view, I do both. And it's backwards. In fiction, you write it and it's perfect, and then you shoot it, and then it changes, and then you edit and it changes it again. And in nonfiction, you shoot a lot and have an idea what you want it to be, and then it takes its life on its own. And I have a couple really good friends, really smart friends, and there's a whole process of showing to just a couple of people, and people help me with the look of it, and just to get a feel of what's working and what's not.
Mine came out pretty close to what I envisioned, but I got good feedback from the actors and actresses about their perspective on relationships, including some people they weren't even cast. So that kind of helped me get a different perspective on these characters and their point of view. That really helped to develop them a little deeper.
Any other questions? I'm doing them and I think he wants to go. Is I here for you clapping when you got your spot? We just want to do I love you like that. They deserve all the accolades. All of you deserve all the accolades that you get. Because filmmaking, it's hard. We make it look easy. Boss Babe looks so easy. I would never guess filming still so hard. That's the beauty of film is that you can make them look easy, you know. So, I have a question. Look at that.
So with making films like this, I feel like every single time you get to have the opportunity to make something, get some money because they're planning to shoot something, I feel like you're learning a lot every single time that one list, especially in short form. What was something really valuable that you thought that you're going to take and shoot?
Tightening up the post-production, maybe deciding a little more clearly about exactly what I want it to be so I can communicate that a little better to the editors. And we had a couple on this project, and it was a little tough because one of them is in California, so conveying that little details to somebody so far away was kind of a challenge.
I don't know how many of you have seen the film Apocalypse Now. I hope you have. But there's a scene where he goes out to get mangoes and they get attacked by a Siberian tiger. And he comes back in and never get out of the boat. Never get out of the boat. Never shoot without a sound person. Never shoot without a sound person, which I knew, and it just completely reinforced that. Never shoot without a sound person. Let's say something.
What I should was saying? I'm excited. Would you do it again?
Yeah, I'd definitely do it again.
Very tough. I would say something I learned from Boss Babe and just working in collaboration with others is how much more powerful a project can be the more other voices are welcomed and input is made, because we made so many tweaks on the day that were just based on comments and insights from the crew. And yeah, just really, really value the hardworking crew who put all of the heavy labor into making the film happen, because it's not for the faint of heart.
Any other questions? Because I know I have one.
I was just wondering how long the post process took into the morning. If it was, like you say, kind of scary.
It was about a year and a half. So it was me trying to do the editing myself and realizing that I'm not an editor, and then finding somebody talented in California, and then finding somebody in Santa Fe to tighten it up at the very end. So it took a long time, but it was also me being my OCD getting the better of me.
Oh, how long did it take? Gosh, I don't know. It just goes on and on. I don't, it was a few months, and it comes together and you're glad it's not a disaster, and then it becomes a disaster, and then it starts to make sense. And then all of a sudden a couple of things get moved around and it really starts to become something. It's really true for all films. You just have to give it time and space, and it will tell you what to do if you're willing to listen. So it finally told me what to do, and the post-production I really had, like, my mixer was saved me, and the title designer and stuff. Those guys really helped me, and they gave me constant feedback. So it was just a process. I mean, I don't remember really, maybe 3, 4, or 5 months,
So Boss Babe, I mean, like I said before, it was a really quick turnaround time. I think it just had this really crazy momentum from start to finish, and everybody was just kind of full on board, and we just wanted to get her out there, and have made a couple of tweaks since then, but for the most part, it's just kind of, it is what it is.
Absolutely. Any other questions? My last question, for these of Xbox are the potential to be really good, is what is next for everyone else? What's next? How can we follow you? What's next?
Follow Video Vermin on Instagram. Video Vermin is a wonderful producer, has wonderful films. Did not produce this movie, but I work alongside and just love the work they do. Amy Puente, our wonderful lead actress, she'll be starring in a horror film coming out from Video Vermin here within the next year, so be on the lookout for that.
But I'm doing next. Just more films if anyone else into.
I think they will. In the immediate future, I'm not sure. I have a couple things I'm putting out into the world. That other project in New Orleans is It's called The Undrowned, and it's based on a good friend of mine wrote an amazing memoir called Undrowned, an imagination survival. And so it's weirdly almost a companion piece, although it doesn't work like that. So that one's out there, and that's a nonfiction sort of poetic documentary. And it's interesting for the people who've read the book and the people who haven't. It's working for both of them somewhat. So that's out in the world. And I've always continued. This is a series in the mind of, and I have another film at film festivals now called In the Mind of Manny Kirshheimer, who was one of the all-time great documentary filmmakers. He died about a year ago. He was close as I had to a mentor, and if you look him up, his films are amazing, and he was an amazing teacher in the fact that I told someone outside this, he for 50 plus years worked on a film 7 days a week, every day, his whole life. And he produced beautiful work, and he had an incredible life and a lesson on how to grow older, to do what you love. And I've been down this little hole of sort of experimental stuff, which I never did. I'm a very narrative guy, and I'm going to go back to I'll probably make. I have a couple feature scripts, and I've been actually just pulling images and making them into shorts, not really of the scripts, but inspired by those scripts. So that's what I want to do next, one of those scripts again.
Close.
So next up, I'm looking at producing a short later this year. Our company is called Heart Framed in Bone Productions. So a website will be up probably at the end of the month. My cousin's putting it all together. And I'm looking at trying to get this one done in a little tighter time frame. I also just want to say that Lauren is a tremendous actress. She did a great job. She was amazing. We had lots of great footage. And if you need any young actresses, her and her family were very generous with their time. Came all the way down from up past Santa Fe, right, Las Vegas, around there. So if you need somebody who's young and talented, she's standing right there. So please talk to her before she leaves today.
Well, I run a non-profit production company, and we make films of age and culturally appropriate to raise awareness and stop the cycle of domestic violence. So I'm going to continue making films, and we're putting together a series right now with a woman that dealt with PTSD after domestic violence situation, and our company is Empowerment Films, and we're on internet, empowermentfilms.org.